And after that verdict came down, the families of the victims were very emotional. They were embracing. They told me they bonded a little bit as this trial went on all week long. What do you say to the judge calling you frustrating and disheartening? Today we reached out to the Norfolk Police Chief, the Norfolk City Manager, as well as the Mayor here in Norfolk. None of them spoke to us today. We were hoping to learn more about what's being done to find those responsible for these shootings. Now he says he just wants his money back. Here at his Virginia Beach home, he has 49 solar panels installed on the back of his house to the tune of $90,000. We did find out the landlord knew about multiple code violations and was notified of at least 8 different failed inspections over the last 2 years. The director of code compliance here in Newport News tells us the landlord not only knew about these, but refused to fix them. We're taking a look at the roads, taking a look at the parking situation to help you play your cards right if you're heading over here this way. Carl Wilkerson was walking right along this sidewalk on Tidewater Drive when he was hit by a car and killed on Friday night. I'm going to start by showing you the worst of the damage, which is right here behind me at the back of the building. We know right now at least 3 departments across Hampton Roads are considering that technology. 1 department already has it in use. Yeah, you know, Anita, right now there's about 500 or a little more than 500 teacher and assistant teacher openings across Hampton Roads. Plenty of people giving this outdoor playground a brand new facelift, and I swear, Aisha, just moments ago, there were dozens of Wavy staffers over here working on it. The pizza just came for lunch, so everyone is inside taking a much-deserved break. Well, Tom, investigators say right now their primary focus is figuring out what the suspect's motive could have been. Moments ago, I spoke with a man who worked here at this Walmart up until about 6 months ago, and he worked right underneath the shooter. He says he never could have seen this coming, that the shooter was described as a bit eccentric, but not too hard to get along with, and that this was really, really out of character for him. As you mentioned, we spent the day outside the suspect's home and trying to get in touch with anyone we could who knew him or could tell us about his past. Here's what we found out.
Very aloof, and I didn't even know his name.
His name is Andre Bing. Walmart and police both identified him as the suspect in Tuesday night's shooting that killed 6. Police say the shooter then killed himself.
Nobody ever came. We never saw anybody there. So, you know.
This neighbor tells us she lived next door to the shooter for 2 years, but never knew him. We heard much of the same from most everyone we spoke with on his street.
I've seen him just in passing. He drives a little green Ford Focus.
Less than an hour after Tuesday night's deadly shooting, we're told Chesapeake SWAT and Virginia State Police were at his home. Neighbor Vera McDuffie woke up to it.
No marked cars. Everything I saw was private vehicles, you know. And then I saw I thought the SWAT thing went up in the driveway.
She says she heard police yell, search warrant," as they banged down his door. As of this afternoon, the door still looked like this. Glass still on the ground from where it had been shattered and pushed in. FBI agents were moving in and out of the home, searching for evidence.
They were just everywhere.
What has it been like this morning?
Crazy, hectic.
That gentleman I spoke with who used to work with the shooter, I asked him if he knew anyone who still worked at the store. He said yes, he knew some of the victims. He only had 2 phone numbers saved in his phone of the people who still worked here. One of them was another manager, and the other was the shooter. He said as soon as he heard about what happened, he texted both of them, of course, only hearing back from one of them. If you know anything about this shooting, you are asked to contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. It's 1-800-CALL-FBI. I'm Julie Millet, live in Chesapeake, 10 on your side.
He had his gun drawn. He had it pointed directly at me this way, and I looked up at him and I saw his eyes. That's what frightened me more than anything else.
It was around 7:45 a.m. on Valentine's Day when Jeffrey Smith was driving to his job as a math teacher at Phoebus High School in his 2007 Honda Accord. Just as he was approaching the school, Smith says he was pulled over by Hampton police, but he didn't know why.
He said, "Throw your keys out of your car." So I threw my keys out of my car, and then he said, "Get out of the car." I took and put my hands on the car like this, in a submissive position like this, and I looked at him. He said, "Don't look at me."
Smith says police accused him of driving a stolen car. He asked them to check his ID, which he says officers refused to do right away.
He thought he saw something in my pocket. What I did have in my pocket was a calculator. And I didn't pull that out to try to show him that I had a calculator because this is the only thing I had in my pocket. Took out everything I had so he could see clearly that I had nothing to conceal.
Smith said the traffic stop lasted around 15 minutes before the officers did check his ID and admitted they made a mistake. But for Smith, the experience will stick with him for the rest of his life.
It might have been the end of me that day.
But he said, Lily, I just wanted to live to walk away from it.
Smith's wife, Lily, says her husband only lived because he quietly complied.
We do value police officers, their dedication to protect and to serve. However, I feel like they abused and misused their power that day.
The Hampton police say anytime a person is pulled over and suspected of driving a stolen car, it's treated as a high-risk stop. The police chief gave us a statement which read in part, "When I found out about what happened to Mr. Smith, I visited him and his family at their home. Most of the police work that we do in the city of Hampton reflects our best, but as humans, we occasionally miss that mark. We will take all the appropriate steps to ensure that this doesn't happen again." We did attempt to sit down and talk with Hampton Police Chief Mark Talbot for this story. He canceled our initial interview and did not reschedule, instead sending us that written statement which you just heard. That full statement is available on wavy.com. A body camera video and other information about the stop was not released to us. We're told this is still under investigation. In the newsroom, I'm Julie Millet, 10 on your side.
That arrest comes months after investigative reporter Julie Millet started digging into this story.
When it started smoking real bad like that, I drug her out away from the truck in case it caught on fire.
A police officer's body camera caught the moments just after Tavora Powell's life changed forever.
And the truck just flipped and flipped. And I was like, as long as I don't lose consciousness and I can hold on to this steering wheel, I'm going to be okay.
While on her normal route last September, the postal worker was stopped along Route 460 in Suffolk when her truck was hit by an oncoming car.
My stomach was burning real bad. I felt like I was about to just lose air and start breathing, panicking.
All she wanted to do in that moment was survive. What Tavora Powell didn't know was that her long road to recovery, which has so far included 2 major surgeries and weekly physical therapy, would be nothing compared to her difficult path to justice.
I want to see him off the street. Like, my life was saved, and I don't want him to go out here and do it to somebody else.
The crash report lists Abraham Applewhite as the driver of the other car. He's well known to police. Since 2012, Applewhite's driving-related convictions include driving without insurance, driving without a license, and failing to stop at the scene of an accident. He's been in jail at least 13 times over the last 23 years, twice for driving without a license and 6 times for failing to appear in court on charges. Applewhite was airlifted from the accident to the hospital after the crash, but arrest warrants weren't immediately issued. 2 months later, police found him visiting his son's apartment.
Remember the crash with the postal vehicle?
An officer asked Applewhite to come down to the police station to turn himself in. Applewhite agreed, but never did show up. The warrants wouldn't be issued for 2 more months.
You can't drive. You gotta stop driving. Okay, all right?
But he didn't stop driving. Court records show 5 months after the crash, Applewhite was charged on a different offense of driving without a license. He was due in court to face that charge in April, but he was a no-show.
I mean, I would say certainly the police department is doing everything within their power to catch not only Mr. Applewhite, but anybody who has a warrant that's outstanding for them.
Suffolk Police spokesman Tim Kelly tells us warrants were issued for Applewhite's arrest in January. He's facing 4 charges related to the crash, 2 charges of driving with a revoked license, 1 charge of driving without insurance, and driving a car without a registration or plates.
He just needs to be off the streets before he hurts somebody else. Like, I don't want my child to be out there driving and he come out of nowhere and kill him, because he almost killed me.
Julie Millet, 10 on your side.